Well, hello, this is Jeff Gaudiosi, and you're on MisplacedStraws.com, where music comes to life. And you may know my next guest from his DJ spots on Sirius XM's Hair Nation and Ozzy's Boneyard channels. Or maybe you know him as the unofficial mayor of New York City through his music. First with the Dirty Pearls, and now as a solo artist. But some of you guys are always going to wonder, who the fuck is Tommy London? That's what we'll find out today. Welcome, Tommy.
What's up, Jeff?
Thanks
for having me, man.
Well, thanks for coming on. And let's start with the music. You recently put out a new video for your song, Say Whoa. And it's a cool video. You got a ton of cameos in it. Talk a little bit about how that video came together.
Well, I was, in quarantine like everyone else. And the most important thing while we are all stuck in our homes is to keep mentally busy. Not just, hopefully physical and work out and whatever. Mentally is very important. And I was trying to find a way of how I can get my music out there still, because I was supposed to release the album this month in May with some parties lined up throughout the summer. And due to what happened, I pulled it all back and, of course, had to cancel shows. So I was trying to find a way, well, how can I still be, musically relevant during this time? What can I do to still be artistic? And I was talking to my girlfriend about a video idea, and she was like, what about if we film people during quarantine? I said, that's a great idea. But it's going to be a lot of work to get, what the hardest part about it was getting people motivated to do it. Because, you know what I mean? It was a lot of, because everyone's in their pajamas and just hanging out at home, and now you're telling them, hey, come on, get excited for me, do whatever. And that was the hardest part. But then as soon as you got a few videos, it was like it would rain and then it would start to pour, And then, of course, I hit up certain people that was Johnny Pie. You have to be in it. So no excuses from you. And some others. Kyle Mooney's a very good friend of mine from Saturday Night Live. He filmed a clip. And then I had Matt Hogan. I wrote the song together. All the songs on my solo album, Matt and I wrote. Johnny and Matt both played with Willie Nile, for those that are familiar with Willie. And the thing with the video was I felt there was something missing. And one of the biggest things for me during quarantine that really hit me hard was the death of my good friend Jimmy Webb. He was a rock and roll stylist. He had a store called I Need More, which he owned with Slash and Duff from Guns N' Roses. He used to work for many years at Trash in Vaudeville and dressed every rock star you could probably name.
He was a legend, that's for sure.
Legend. And I'll tell you what, man, I never met someone with such positivity about him. If I was having a bad day, even if I wasn't looking for any clothes, I would go by his store just to feel good. I knew that this guy would put me in a good mood and his energy. And it just sucks about his passing. Has nothing to do with the virus. He was sick prior to all this. But it's just sad that we couldn't even do anything to pay tribute to this great man. And I was like, I got some videos and pictures of Jimmy. Let me see if I can, make it part of the video. I know he would have loved that. And that's what I did. So I made a tribute to Jimmy Webb. And that made me feel better.
Yeah, and it's a fun video. It definitely sets the mood for what we're all going through right now. And
thank you.
You had a couple of singles out over the past few years on Boom Boom, Make You Love Me, Sugar Red. You mentioned that the album was going to come out. Do you have a new schedule for it, or is it everything just kind of wait and see?
Yeah, well, the new record's called Emotional Fuse, and Matt and I, we did it together, and it's been in the can for quite some time. And we were shopping it and all that, great, fun stuff. And then I was like, you know what, let's just drop singles and we'll put it out on our own and, see where the chips fall. And we were all set for May. Yeah, we're going to do it May. And now I pushed it till the fall. But you know what? Who knows? I can't even organize anything, which if you were organizing something for the fall, you'd have to start in June. And July at the latest. And I don't know. It's like I'm driving blind, So
the thing is, everybody's organizing for the fall now, too. So finding spots and finding slots to put things in is going to be impossible.
Oh, yeah. The venues are going to be really hard, the bigger venues. Like, I had a few shows set up, but the one in New York City was set for the Gramercy Theater. Now, what's going to happen which is like a 600-seater, and what's going to happen to those kind of venues is when the cages open and bands are allowed to tour again and people are going to the shows, it's going to be harder for you know, it's going to be harder for a local guy or an independent artist to get those venues before a major touring act. They're just going to be all booked up. But yeah, we'll see what we can work out and make something happen. So we'll see.
Yeah,
Thinking positive.
Yeah, of course. And you mentioned some of the guys playing on your record. For those who don't know Matt Hogan, look up live videos with him on YouTube. He is the best guitar player you're ever going to see. Who else do you have playing with you in the studio band or in a live band?
Well, in the studio, it was Matt Hogan and I. Of course, Matt was on all the guitars. On a song called "Make You Love Me," which you mentioned was my second single, and on that particular song features John Weber and Johnny Pye.
Willie Nile band, yep.
Yes, he also played with Willie Nile. A little Willie Nile connection going on there. And in the studio, we had it was co-produced. Matt produced the record as well as John Fields, and John has produced the likes of Gimme World and the Jonas Brothers and Pink. So it was nice to have that pop sensibility.
Right, and it fits well with your style.
Yeah, it really did. When Matt and I were making the record together, we wanted that. We wanted this Billy Idol meets the Killers kind of thing. We wanted a retro rock sound with a pop sensibility. And we actually, we went to a couple studios and we tried a few things with a few people, and we just weren't finding the groove. And we got with John Fields, and he really got the vision Matt and I had. And Matt did a lot of work in his studio, and then we took it to John to complete the whole record.
And now, prior to your solo stuff, you were in, one of the great New York City bands, Dirty Pearls.
Dirty Pearls, yep.
And you guys had a really unique relationship with Lady Gaga. Talk a little bit about how all that kind of came about.
Yeah, Marty, the drummer of Dirty Pearls, and myself, we were friends with Lady Gaga for quite some time. We hung out at this bar on the Lower East Side on Residency Street, where I still live, actually. Called St. Jerome's. That's where I met a lot of the friends who I'm still friends with to this day. Brian Newman, who's a jazz player who plays with Gaga, and we were all friends, just talking about our dreams and where we wanted to go in music, or if you're a DJ, or just in the arts. That's all we would ever talk about, and rock and roll. And well, she went the furthest out of all of us.
So far.
Yeah, so far, right?
Yeah.
But the one thing that I've always said about her and to her, that she never forgot her friends. Her head's in the clouds, but she always has kept her feet on the ground, and that's what I think helps her just be even more successful. Well,
that's good to hear. I mean, it's always good when you hear somebody who remembers, the people that were with them while you guys were all starting out.
Yeah.
And we mentioned too, a lot of people may know you from your shows on Sirius XM. How did that happen? It kind of seems like it started off as a show here or there, and then became a steady gig.
Yeah, I tell you what, I love that job. I look forward to it every week when I'm on the air. And I'm on Saturday and Sunday mornings on Sirius XM Hair Nation, and then on Saturday, Sunday nights on Ozzy's Boneyard. And yeah, I mean, I love that gig. How it came about was a friend of mine, we were just all hanging out, and he's a big agent. And he was just shooting shit. And he was like, about music and whatnot, like pretty much everything you ever read in like liner notes, I can spit it out. Like liner notes to CDs and record albums were my school books.
That's what I miss from downloads. I miss that.
Right. I mean, I could tell you who wrote what song, who played on what song. ASCAP or BMI, I could tell you, and their names. And I miss that too. Album artwork, it's just all a lost art form, all of that. But what was your question?
We're just talking music. Who cares?
Oh, it was the radio. The radio. So my buddy's an agent. Sorry, I got off on a tangent about the album. So my friend's an agent, and he said, "Man, you know so much about all these bands." And I said, "Well, yeah, it's useless knowledge. It's good at the trivia night, the bar down the street." He goes, I'm friends with one of the president of Sirius XM. I'm like, okay. He goes, I'm going to get you, have him meet you. And I said, yeah, okay. Whatever, right? So he makes a phone. He actually puts us on a group text, me, him, and Scott Greenstein, the president of Sirius XM. And I was like, is my buddy for real? Like, this is ridiculous. So, okay, so we're talking, and Scott says, hey, why don't you come in? I'll love to meet you. He goes, I don't have any slots right now, but I would love to meet you. And I said, oh, okay. He said, well, I'll humor everybody, and I'll just go in. So I went in, I met Scott, and wow, we really just hit it off musically. I felt it. When I was taught, we sat down, we were talking music. Like, it was just, and I think him saying that he wasn't looking for anyone, I went in there like, well, fuck it. You know, I'm just going to shoot shit with this guy. Yeah, I'm not getting this job. So whatever. It'd be cool to see the studio and I'll go home. Maybe I'll run into Howard Stern. We'll call it a day. So I go in there, we're talking music, and we really were connecting. But the moment that I knew that we were just really in sync with each other, we were talking about Bon Jovi and Richie Sambora. Sambora has a solo record. And I had said to a few solo records, actually. His first solo album is called Stranger in This Town. Great album. Never heard it. It's a fantastic rock record.
It definitely is.
Yeah, you know that album? It's a great album.
God, yeah.
Okay, so this is him and I's conversation like I'm having with you. Now, the first single off that album was called Ballad of Youth. And I told Scott, I said, you know what? I love that album. Do you know where they went wrong with that record? And he goes, where? I said, they released the wrong song as the first single because then it didn't have any more heat after that, you know? And Scott looks at me and goes, well, what song do you think should have been the first single? And at the same time, him and I both said Rosie. You know that song off that album? That's a fantastic song.
I had a feeling that's where you were going to go with it.
Yeah, see, you even know that should have been the first single. That song was originally written for Bon Jovi by John and Richie. Maybe Desmond Child, that I'm not sure. But those two definitely. And I guess it never got used on a Jovi record. And Richie did it, and it sounds phenomenal. And him and I said it at the same time, and we laughed. He goes, wow, you really know your shit. And I said, yeah, like I said, useless knowledge. He goes, well, it's useless everywhere but here. I'm going to find a spot for you. And I said, are you serious? He said, yeah. And he did. And I'm forever grateful for that moment, for my friend referring me, and for Scott being believed.
You never know where your useless knowledge is going to take you. It has me doing that. So,
you know, right? It's unbelievable. So funny.
Yeah, and joked at the beginning about you being sort of the unofficial mayor of New York City, but it really isn't that far off. You do a lot for the city. And one of the great things you do is the $5 Rock Show. You've been, how many years now has that been going on, and, you know, how do you keep that going?
Okay, so I'll tell you how that started. When I was with the Dirty Pearls, we went on the road with Lady Gaga. We were doing some shows with her, and we came, and that's the year she canceled her tour, and she got hurt, and so we were done, you know. So here we are coming back, and we were like, and we felt bad for her, of course. We wanted her to feel better, and we were just in our heads going, but this sucks to come back to New York, right? We were on the road and loving it, you know. And I remember that feeling of coming over the bridge back into the city. And I just had this weird feeling in me, like I missed New York, but it wasn't time to come home yet, you know? And I remember looking around the van, and I could tell the guys felt the same way. So we got home, we're back, slowly getting to the groove. And now keep in mind, we're not working. We went on the road, right? So the guys were like, how are we going to make some money? We need to make some money, this and that. I said, well, I have an idea. I said, we were always doing Bowery Ballroom and Gramercy Theater, Irving Plaza. We do big shows here in the city. I said, we haven't done Arlene's Grocery, which is a small venue in the Lower East Side of New York. It holds about 150 people. And I told the guys, I said, what if we do a residency there? I can probably convince them, get a sponsor. We can make some quick loot, at least survive a month to figure out the next move. You know, I thought this was a smart play. So I contacted the different, they have a new manager there now, but at the time it was Julia was her name, was an old manager there who I've known for years. Matter of fact, the Dirty Pearls' first show ever was at Arlene, and we hadn't played it since because things just started to progress with the band. So I said to her about this idea of doing the residency, but I said, look, I have this concept. It has to be $5 to get in. I can get in touch with Budweiser. Like, I'm real marketing smart. You know, I know like how the bars work. So I said, I got Budweiser to give you some free kegs. I got Jameson. They're going to give you some free liquor, so we can make $3 shots, $5 shots, $3 beers, and you can keep all that money. You just pay me XYZ. We charge $5 at the door, and everyone's going to win, right? And she loved it. So we did it for the whole month, and I booked all the bands around me. And they were every week there was a line around the block. It was truly incredible, very touching to me. I was like, wow, this is incredible. And it was really awesome just to walk down the street, play a gig, and it was a lot of fun. So when it was done, she contacted me, and then, like I said, Julia contacted me, and she says, Tommy, I would love for you to do this every month. And I said, well, I want to, but I can't, because if I keep doing that, it's going to take away from the bigger shows we do. You know, there's a lot behind a lot of things, you know. And she was like, yeah, but a lot of the bands you book, they don't play here anymore, but they played with you.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, so how about this idea? How do you feel about doing it once a month? You don't have to play, but you put the shows together. And I was like, wow. I go, can we do the same concept? Now, I want the money 100% to go to the band. Mm-hmm. And she said, yes, $5 a head. As long as it wasn't on a weekend. We did it every Wednesday, slow night of the week. And it became one of their biggest nights of the week. There is one of their biggest nights of the week when I do the party, and it snowballed. And that started in 2013. And
it's been going that long now. Yeah.
I didn't realize it either, man.
Because I remember the Residency when you guys played that. So it doesn't seem like it was that long ago.
Yeah, that's when it was. And there were times I almost stopped. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to – because there was a moment where I would book bands, and they were canceling. And I was like, okay, I don't have time for this shit. You know, it's one day a month. You can't commit. And then right around that time, I was going to pull back or maybe do it every other month or something like that. And then my friend Frank Ferrer, who's in the band Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, little band from LA.
Yeah, little band you might have heard of. I don't know if they're going to make it, but keep your eye on them. So he's from New York, and when he's not playing with Axl and Slash, he has a little side project, a cover band, jam band, a bunch of guys who I know as well, mutual friends, and they're called Mule Kick. And he's like, hey, Tommy, I know you do that party. I would love to do the Mule Kick there. They were doing it at a venue, at a bar, in Brooklyn, and the bar closed. So he was looking for a new spot. I said, this might be the lifesaver I need. I'm dealing with these bands that keep canceling lately. I put these guys on. I only got to book 2 bands. We'll make it a fun night. I got the Frank from Guns here. It's going to be a good time. And it worked. And it's just been every time it seems like there's always something new to add to it. And I really enjoy it. And I actually contacted the manager of Arlene. Her name's Blue, the new manager. And I said to her, I said, when all the smoke clears with this stuff, how do you feel about me doing every Wednesday? Because I know all these bands want to play. And she told me, yes, let's talk about it. And so that'd be fun. Be looking forward to that.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Be really cool. I don't know if I can get Guns N' Roses, Frank. I don't know if I can Frank for every week. But I'll figure something out.
And again, you've been such a part of the New York City music scene, and New York's had some great musical periods. I mean, whether it was early on with Hendrix, Dylan and the Velvet Underground, then the Dolls and the Ramones and Blondie and all that, even in the early 2000s with the Strokes and that scene. I mean, prior to the lockdown now, I mean, what's your take on the current scene there? And do you see anything changing? Do you see it coming back, or it taking a while when this is all lifted?
Yeah, well, what's weird? I had to talk with somebody. Well, prior to the quarantine, I always felt that I don't know if there was really a scene anymore, but a community of people. Like the things you're talking about. Like, when's the last band that we saw? Like I guess Strokes might be the last band I could think of. Yeah, they're the last ones to really come out in New York. Right. So whenever someone says, how's the scene like, I always say, well, it's a community, because I don't see that happening. And that could always change, there's some really cool spots that bands play, Bowery Electric, Arlene's Grocery. There's a few other ones, too, that are small, like that, Berlin, that are really cool. And like I always tell people, places aren't cool, people are cool.
Right.
That's what makes a spot the place to be, And I feel that this community of people does support rock and everything. And I do feel that leading back to your question, after the quarantine, that I think it'll come in droves. Everyone's itching to get out. Everyone's itching to play. The only problem is everyone's so scared about being around each other. And until that slowly gets figured out, I think it'll come back pretty strong. I think a lot of people are being creative under the quarantine, which I think is really important, especially just to keep your mind busy.
Yeah, and that, we're seeing a lot of that online with, even just individual musicians from bands putting up a solo piece here or there. So it's good to see people creating, and hopefully they can get out there and bring it to everybody soon. Yeah, I mean, look, when life gives you lemons, you got to make lemonade. Yeah. And I think that's really important to find. Like, I've been doing these. I did this show on Ozzy's. I pitched to my boss on Ozzy's Boneyard to do a show on Ozzy's Boneyard Instagram Live. And I do it every Tuesday at 7 p.m. East and every Saturday at 4 p.m. East.
and I call it face-to-face, where I talk to you or anyone else who wants to call into me face-to-face, and I have a different topic. I had a few topics like best Ozzy album or best Kiss album. Then I've been having guests as well. I had John Five. I have Mark Weiss, the famous photographer, did all those. Amazing photographer. Did all those 80s guys, Guns N' Roses, Bon Jovi, Ozzy, Priest, and much more. I have him coming on, and I'm working on a few others, and it's becoming like a thing, and I really enjoy it. And like I said, it helps me with my peace of mind and everyone who's listening and watching. And we're all in this together, and I feel if I can do that for even one person, because it's being done for me when I do it, then mission accomplished,
Well, and again, the people like me, the fans that are into it, thank you guys for doing that while we're all at home, because it's keeping all of us sane. That's what it comes down to. Yeah, you're doing it too. This interview alone and whatever else, you are helping the cause as well. So thank you, man. We're trying, man. Yeah, that's great. Well, Tommy, thank you so much. And again, it's been Tommy London. You can catch him on Hair Nation and Ozzy's Boneyard on Sirius XM. He has some great music out. His new video is Say Whoa, which definitely recommend, as well as all the other stuff he has out there. Check him out online. I know you got some great merch up there too that people can order. Yeah. And we look forward to hopefully catching you on the road and saying hello in person again. Yeah, I can't wait, Jeff. Thank you. Well, thanks a lot, Tommy. Have a great one. You too. Thanks for having me. You got it.